Good morning and welcome to this thought for the day for Thursday. I wonder if you have a favourite parable. If I think about it, then there are a number of contenders in my mind for the favourite. The Good Samaritan is certainly one, and the parable of the sower and all it has to tell us about evangelism is another. But this parable of our reading today is certainly another which is a contender for favourite. It's from Luke chapter 20 and beginning at verse 9. Jesus went on to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard, rented it to some farmers and went away for a long time. At harvest time he sent a servant to the tenants so that they would give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. He sent another servant, but that one also they beat and treated shamefully and sent him away empty-handed. He sent still a third, and they wounded him and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my son, whom I love. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they talked the matter over. "This is the heir," they said. "Let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and kill those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When the people heard this, they said, "May this never be." Jesus looked directly at them and said, "Then what is the meaning of that which is written? The stone which the builders rejected has become the capstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, but he on whom it falls will be crushed." The teachers of the law and the chief priests looked for a way to arrest him immediately, because they knew he'd spoken this parable against them, but they were afraid of the people. It's a great story, and I'm sure that those who listened recognised its significance immediately, because the vineyard was a well-known picture for the people of Israel, and it would have put them in mind of their covenant relationship with God as his people, forged in the time of Moses and established in the law. And the history of the Old Testament tells of the many times in which they broke that covenant, fell away from their responsibilities before God, and how God sent prophets to remind them of their responsibility, and still they failed to take it, and they killed the prophets. And then the twist at the end of the story was, I'll send my son, my only son, my heir. Maybe they'll respect him. Now, I don't know what they made of that, how much they recognise that this referred to Jesus. For us, it's very clear, but for them it must have been a bit misty. But certainly we read that the chief priests and the teachers of the law recognised that this was being told again against them, and their response was not to turn to God and to repent and to accept the words of Jesus, but rather to find out the ways in which they could fulfil the story of the parable and put Jesus to death, something which happened quite soon in the chronology of Luke's Gospel after this event. And it's good to read the story and to point the finger at the Jews and to see how it points up the way in which they failed to acknowledge God and to fulfill their responsibilities before him. But of course, it's a parable which is told against all people. It's told against those who reject Jesus in our own day. But what does it have to say to us? For we all recognise that we are in part responsible for the crucifixion of Jesus. It was our sin that sent him to the cross. And I guess the least we can do, and I hope that we all do, is to recognise Jesus, to accept him and his death on the cross for us, and to give God the responsibilities which we know are his due in our own lives, in the way in which we live and the way in which we behave towards others. A great little story from the words of Jesus. Have a great day. God bless you.